Hey y'all, it's me, Miss Faulkner, and in this darling picture, we have Miss Carter's kids, Caroline and Grayson, but I don't know which one is which. So I don't know if that's Caroline or if that's Caroline. So you have to check with Miss Carter on that. Alrighty, let's get this party started. Alrighty, what we're going to do now is we are going to solve equations that have negative variables. Now you may say, wait a second, that's a subtraction sign. Well, subtraction sign and a negative number represent the same concept. And I know it's kind of weird, but that's where we got to start thinking. So what we got to do is we got to figure out what's the goal. I'm trying to get x all by itself. So is there a way that I could write this equation so it looks a little more friendly? Well, I know I could put a 1 in front of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it. And I'm going to write 3 minus 1/4 x equals 10. Okay, now I got to figure out how am I going to get x by itself. Who's chilling with x? Well, 1/4 is, but so is 3. Now, what kind of 3 is this? Is this positive or negative? Well, it's positive because I don't see anything. I don't see a negative sign. So in order to undo a positive 3, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Subtract 3 from both sides, because whatever I do to one side, got to do to the other. So here we go. 3's cancel out. What am I left with? I'm left with negative 1/4 x equals 7. Now we know when we have a fraction, we need to flip it. That's my mom's name. And we need to flip it and multiply by its reciprocal. So I'm going to flip this, and I get 4 over negative 1. And I'm going to multiply that. And whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. Now, I don't like the way 7 looks, so I'm going to turn 7 into a fraction. And I'm going to multiply it by 4 over negative 1. Now, let's see what happens when we multiply this all together. 4 times negative 1, I get negative 4 over negative 1 times 4, negative 4x. Okay, now I'm going to multiply these two. 7 times 4, I get 28. And when I multiply 1 times negative 1, I get negative 1. So let's go ahead and simplify this. We know that negative 4 over 4 is 1, so I get 1x equals 28 divided by negative 1 is negative 28. So I get x equals negative 28. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to check. So wherever I see x in my equation, I'm going to plug in negative 28. And I got to be really careful to plug in exactly what I have. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my equation. 3 minus, now what's x? Negative 28 over 4 equals 10. So I'm going to do 3 minus, now negative 28 divided by 4 is negative 7. Whoa, there's two negatives. Equals 10. Now, what do we know about these two negatives? What can I do? I can turn them into a positive so that I get 10 equals 10. Ta-da! Check. You rock. Good job. He doesn't have a head today, just a face. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with this, except for our variables on the other side. But it's okay. It's the exact same process. So I have to figure out what's my goal to get x by itself. Who's chilling with x over 2? Well, that's 5. Well, I still don't like the way this looks. So what am I going to do? I can go ahead and rewrite it. And I'm going to write 3 equals 5 minus, I can put that 1 there. So I'm going to write 1/2 x. Okay, so who's chilling with the 1/2? Well, the 5 is. So let's look at what kind of 5 it is. That's positive. So how do I undo positive? I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. So let's see when we get that. We do 3 minus 5. We get negative 2. Chazzle Dazzle is barking outside. My 5s, they cancel out, and I'm left with negative 1/2. You have to make sure you bring down that sign. Remember, you said it was subtraction, but it turns into a negative. Okay, negative 1/2, whoops, x. Okay, so now I know I have a fraction, so what do I have to do? I have to flip it exactly. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 over negative 1. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. If I look at this negative 2, how can I turn this into a fraction? I'm going to put it over 1. And I'm going to multiply both sides by 1, oh no, 2, sorry, over negative 1, because that's what I multiplied by on this side, so I got to multiply on this side. So let's go ahead and multiply across. 2 times negative 2, I get negative 4 over negative 1 equals negative 1 times 2, I get negative 2. 2 times negative 1, I get negative 2x. All right, negative 4 divided by negative 1, you get 4. Negative 2 divided by negative 2, I get 1x. So I know that 4 equals x. That is pretty cool. Okay, so let's go back and what? Let's check. Wherever I see x, I'm going to put 4. So I'm going to write 3 equals 5 minus 4 over 2. 3 equals 5 minus 2. Does 3 equal 3? Oh my goodness, we are brilliant. Oh, that guy's eye is a little messed up. Oh well. Alrighty, let's go ahead and start with this guy. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite it with a 1 in front. So I'm going to write 11 minus 1/3 x equals 40. Okay, who's chilling out with negative 1/3 x? Well, 11 is. And 11, is it positive or negative? It's positive because I don't have any signs right there. So I'm going to subtract 11 from both sides. Whatever I do to one side, you got it. Got to do to the other. My 11's cross out. I need to make sure I bring this whole thing down. Whoa, this whole thing with the x. That was a negative sign. So I get negative 1/3 x equals 29. Okay, now I'm in an equation, and I have a fraction with my variable. So what do I have to do? I got to flip it. So I'm going to make sure I write 3 over negative 1. I'm going to multiply those. Whatever I do to one side, got to do to the other. I'm going to turn 29 into a fraction. So I'm going to multiply that by 3 over negative 1. Alrighty, when I multiply across 3 times negative 1, I get negative 3 over negative 3x equals 87 over negative 1, because I have my 1 times my negative 1. So I know that negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1x equals 87 divided by a negative 1, negative 87. So that x equals negative 87. Okay, I'm going to see if you guys can go ahead and check on your own. So wherever you see x, right here, you're going to put negative 87. You're going to put negative 87. So to start, you're going to write 11 minus, what was x? It's negative 87 over 3 equals 40. So you guys go ahead and do that, and when you're finished, you know what to do. Raise your hands, give a little clap, 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 and we will come check it. Okay, I'm going to get you started, and then I'm going to have you do the rest on your own. Why is that little red spot right there? What is that? Huh. Okay, I'm going to put a 1 in front of that x. So I'm going to rewrite it, and I'm going to write 20 equals negative 1/3 x plus 7. So give it a go, give it a try, do your very, very best, your very, very, very best, and when you're finished, raise your hands, put your hands up. God, I have a good voice. Okay, so that we can give it a good check and some love. Okay, love y'all. See y'all. Oh, sorry, I gave you a bad eye. Okay. Yeah, I had to get rid of that. Alrighty, I can give him little cheeks. Or maybe some hair. Okay, get going.